It's been 3 years since I tricked and scammed the rich young master, and now I'm pregnant. They said he was too proud and cold to care about a canary with a baby. So I ran away in the middle of the night, pregnant. He went crazy tearing apart City A but didn't find me. When I had to return home, he suddenly showed up. Grabbing my neck, he asked, "Melody, you still remember how to get back?" My daughter ran excitedly to him and hugged his leg. "Mom, is this the dad I picked for myself?" "Sweet girl, did you just introduce yourself to your real dad?" I was Oliver's canary kept outside in luxury. He was cold, emotionally distant, and never cared for me. Only sometimes in bed did he lose a bit of composure. But he only kept me as a canary, for 3 years straight. I looked at the pregnancy report in my hand, clutching it tightly. Upon knowing Oliver was at a bar, I rushed over. I was eager to tell him about the pregnancy. As I pushed open the booth door, it was quiet, and a voice emerged. His best friend's voice. "Your parents lined up a marriage for you with Anna. She's quite the catch. Why don't you just go along with it?" Oliver gave a cold response. "If you like her, you marry her." His friend shrugged. "Is your canary really worth it? You're totally smitten with her." I hoped Oliver would answer, but he said nothing. His friend teased, "What if your little canary got pregnant?" Before his friend could finish, Oliver put down his drink. His tone was icy, firm, and unemotional. "I took precautions. She won't get pregnant. And she can't get pregnant." His friend chuckled. "If she really is, are you gonna make her get rid of it?" No response. I felt like I fell into an ice cellar. I almost forgot how careful Oliver had been with contraception. He couldn't handle a canary with a kid. I turned away, ripping the pregnancy report into pieces. Suddenly, it all seemed ridiculous. I actually thought for a moment he'd be excited about this baby. It was much later I found out someone said something crass about me in that booth. Oliver crushed a glass in his hand with a stony expression. That night, Oliver didn't come home. I had a nightmare. I dreamed Oliver grabbed my neck with bloodthirsty eyes. "Who do you think you are? A plaything like you can't bear my child." I gasped for air, Oliver's cold, ruthless face etched in my mind. I jolted awake, relieved it was just a dream. I recalled vividly Oliver wasn't just the proud and indifferent man he appeared to be. He was actually a cold-blooded monster. 3 years ago, Oliver was drugged and overcome. When he woke up, I lied, saying he forced me, demanding protection for 3 years. In reality, I had knocked him out. I just wanted a place to survive. That plot almost got me killed. I thought I would fear him. But surprisingly, I fell for him during this time. Even more laughable, his indulgence made me truly think about marrying him and living a normal life. But now, it's time to wake up from that dream. I gently touched my belly. This baby is my only family now. Oliver can't know about this child. He can't take away the right for this child to be born. I called Oliver's archenemy Charles. He chuckled. "Melody, you finally decided to call me?" I told him not to call me so intimately. I simply said, "Get me to a place Oliver can never find me." Charles made good on his promise, offering me a route to escape without Oliver finding out. But he had one condition: distract Oliver for an hour. This hour was my chance to make my escape. I asked why he couldn't find some excuse to lead Oliver away. He was silent for a moment, then burst into laughter. "Melody, after you're gone, I still have to live. If Oliver finds out it's me who helped you, my dad would kill me if he comes for me." I bit my lip. "Maybe Oliver wouldn't come after you for me. After all, I'm just a canary, nothing more." It was vile of me. I'd used underhanded tactics to steal these 3 years. He chuckled. "Who knows?" I begged him never to tell Oliver where I was after I left. He just laughed, for quite a while, before earnestly agreeing. I had a feeling he wasn't being entirely sincere, but quickly ignored the suspicion. Oliver treated me well. Money was never an issue. I never lacked anything. If it had been just me, I wouldn't take anything. But with the baby, I had to think of her. I spent a few million at various stores using Oliver's card over time. In return, offered each store owner $10,000 if they converted it all to cash for me. Oliver called when he noticed the spending. His tone was indifferent as always. Need anything? I'll have Vincent get it for you. Guiltily, I replied, no, I'm just buying stuff. He responded with just an seemingly just asking on a whim. For reasons unknown, suddenly I asked, Oliver, am I just a plaything to you? I paused for a couple of seconds after speaking. Not hearing a response, I quickly brushed it off as a crazy moment and hung up. In time, everything was set. When Oliver returned, I was unusually attentive, holding him tight, kissing his jaw. Searching for his lips, kissed him again. His grip tightened around my waist, his breathing deep. Just before the final moment, I stopped, claiming my period had started. His gaze turned softer, his hand resting on my belly. Your period came early? Have you been eating cold stuff? Tomorrow, let's see a doctor. My heart raced, face flushed, and I hurried to refuse. I wasn't one to show emotions much, nor was he. But today, I just wanted to cling to him, seeking kisses, acting coy, drawing his attention. I murmured, really craving those cookies from that West Side night market? He responded, I'll have Vincent get them. Nope, I kissed him again, batting my eyes at him, I want you to get them, they might close soon, and I'm craving them today. He seemed awkward, unaccustomed to this from me. Staring into my eyes, it was like he was getting to know me anew. I kept blinking at him. He sighed, barely audibly, okay. I added, be nice when you're there, don't scare anyone. He simply nodded, went along with it. Oliver never had anyone watch me. Once he left, I immediately called Charles. Before I left, I scheduled a message to him, Oliver, it's over. 3 years have passed. I won't bother you anymore. By the time he gets it, I'll be far away. I've lost my mind thinking Oliver would go nuts looking for me. Charles never knew why I left, but he warned me, once you've gone, don't come back. Oliver's a madman. If he finds out you messed with him then returned, he might actually kill you. Just 4 years later, I'm back again. 4 years on. I'm at the airport, on my way home. After landing, I went to the restroom. When I came out, my daughter Wendy hugged me. Mom, Wendy just found herself a handsome daddy. I thought she was joking. I hadn't told anyone I was coming back, except for my best friend. Me and Wendy were staying with her for a while. In the years I spent abroad, I built my own business and became a somewhat famous fashion designer. There are 2 reasons for coming back this time. First, I was invited to attend Fashion Week. Second, I got word that I might have a sister. In this world, besides my daughter, there's someone else close to me by blood. I wanted to find her. So I took the risk and returned to City A. 4 years ago, I saw some photos taken. Oliver was standing in line at the night market for some snacks. He had a gentle smile on his lips and was holding a box of cookies. People online were confused, wondering why Oliver was at a night market. He was known for being a neat freak, usually avoiding small food stalls and diners. I still have only a few photos of him saved on my phone. The next time I heard about him, it was the internet going wild with stories of Oliver leading the H Group to global success. There was also a new presence beside him. The cherished gem of the Greens. He was always someone who attracted stars, and after that, it was like we couldn't be more different. My best friend asked if I still had feelings for Oliver. I shook my head. My dreams were long gone. As soon as I got back, I started looking into info about my sister. On the day I was invited to Fashion Week, I dropped Wendy off at daycare. Once there, I found my seat and sat down. When it was my turn to speak, a spotlight was on me. The host asked about my creative inspirations. The piece Summer Boat took me 3 years to create. It was summertime. I spoke on stage confidently, until suddenly a sharp, somber gaze locked on me. That's when I noticed a familiar figure hidden in the dark in the VIP seats on the second floor. not sure how long he had been watching. Cold, unfeeling black eyes, like a predator in the shadows, glinting fiercely. I was rigid, not even remembering what the host asked next or how I responded. Backstage in the dressing room, I finally relaxed. I turned around, and a warm hand suddenly clamped around my neck. That familiar faint woody scent hit me. A menacing, ruthless voice struck deep in my heart. "Melody, you actually came back?" There was a flicker of obsessive insanity in his eyes, along with a hint of murderous red glints. He truly was crazy. His grip tightened, saying, "I really want to just kill you." He had every reason to hate me. Oliver was someone who always had it all. The sole heir to the Johnstons. He had been on a roll these years. And I was the only one who ever played him. My face flushed red, coughing violently, tears streaming from my eyes. I couldn't break free from his grip. His cold black eyes looked down at me. Studying my expression, his other hand nonchalantly wiped away my tears. When he loosened his hold, he suddenly leaned down and kissed me fiercely. Hot and intense. Like he was making up for 4 lost years. My heart raced, mind blank. Instinctively, I wrapped my arms tighter around his neck, responding to him. The air grew tense. Then suddenly, there was a knock at the door. "Ms. Melody, there are some reporters outside hoping for an interview. Is now a good time for you?" I snapped awake, pushing him away. He gripped my chin, a mocking smile in his eyes. "You think those reporters know the designer they're waiting for is practically making out with me behind this door?" I didn't know what was happening with me. Maybe I was just overwhelmed by seeing Oliver after so long, and some hormones kicked in. I subconsciously reached for his abs, stammering out, "And no, they don't." Realizing where I was, I pulled my hand back quickly. But he was faster, catching my hand as I tried to flee. His presence felt deeper, his gaze unreadable and cold. I was worried that those outside might notice, staring at him with wide eyes. "Oliver. Have you lost your mind?" He scoffed. "Let go only when you've had enough, Melody. Who's really the mad one here?" I didn't say anything, and he continued, "I'm the crazy one, for not getting enough kisses, for willingly letting you touch me." I felt uneasy at the way he spoke. I was pressed against the door, my hand sneaking toward the handle. A soft laugh fell above me, and my mind screamed a warning. He guided my hand back to his abs. Seemed like he was even more built than before I left. Before, he could already have me withering and gasping from his strength. Now, I was aware of my thoughts, my face burning with embarrassment. "Blushing already? How will you handle later? You touched me, so you'd better get your fill." I eyed him warily. "I'm done." "Who said you were?" "You'll stop when I say you're done." My mind faltered. What about the reporters outside? His eyes turned cold. "Let them wait." I added, "Don't you hate me? I even thought you wanted to kill me, but then I figured there are better ways to torment you." What way?" His warm hand landed on my waist. Fingers gripping, his palm tightening. Raising one of my legs with his other hand, pressing me against the door. I was about to gasp out loud. He pressed a finger to his lips, eyes cold. "If you don't want them to hear, stay quiet, because I won't stop." He was not only unpredictable but also more twisted. Later on, a teeth mark was left on my neck. He did it on purpose. Watching the scar intently, a little pain, "So you won't easily forget." He was cruel, to make sure I wouldn't forget. Once it was over, his demeanor switched, cold and unfamiliar again. He paused in his tracks, speech halted. He turned and left, my heart regaining a steady beat. I noticed several missed calls and messages from the line crew when I checked my phone. I quickly apologized, saying I felt unwell and dozed off in the dressing room. No one thought much of it. When I finally left to catch a cab, I noticed a familiar figure at the corner. Vincent. Oliver's assistant. He was even more tight-lipped after 4 years. Approaching me, he coolly said, Oliver can only stay sane with medication. I personally hope you could help, Miss Melody. If not, I'd prefer you to stay out of Oliver's view. His condition will get out of control otherwise. That's when I learned Oliver was sick. Quite seriously ill. I eventually found my sister Gina. We even met once. Her style leaned more towards androgynous fashion, resembling me a bit. She was reluctant to acknowledge me, a little awkward still. She worked part-time jobs daily, so I gave her a card, trying to care for her as much as possible. I never felt a family's warmth, but I hoped Gina would. Yet, I've been so busy lately, our meetings don't last long before I need to leave. A company I'm working with sent someone to invite me to a fancy dinner. The place was packed with some really wealthy and influential people. The guy who invited me said I should make a good impression, try to get some investment for my future fashion show. I nodded. Once inside, I realized that a lot of these people were familiar faces. The guy introduced me to them, filled with flattery, trying to get them to invest with a little charm. I smiled, raising my glass to toast with each one of them. They looked at me, laughing. When I toasted a specific man, he suddenly exclaimed, "Well, if it isn't Miss Melody. Haven't seen you in years, but now you're just here as our drinking buddy?" Yeah, unlike the bosses, my future isn't as bright. I kept my cool, still smiling along. No reason to make enemies that could cause trouble for me and the guy who brought me. Then he laughed rudely, "And your chest looks bigger since the last time?" Suddenly, an arm went around my shoulder. I looked up quickly, seeing a face similar to mine. Gina had arrived. She gave the man a cold glare. "Your insecurity is screaming relic of feudalism. What's it to you about her chest? Instead, maybe see a doctor about your own issues." I couldn't help but laugh. She stepped in front of me protectively. The guy's expression darkened. He sneered, "What? Now that Oliver's gone, you're with this little chicken here?" He reached out as if to grab me. Cheers erupted around us. It was all a show. Many of their faces looked all too familiar. When I was with Oliver, I'd pissed a lot of these people off. Some tried getting close to him by belittling me, insulting me. Some even tried to physically confront me. But in the end, they either got beaten by me or got a lesson from Oliver. Their companies felt the sting too. They never dared to resent Oliver. Now, with him gone, they picked on me, the one without backing. This wasn't worth my energy. I quickly slapped him. Everyone went silent. The man, realizing what happened, was about to kick me. But suddenly, an arm wrapped around my waist, lifting me off the ground and spinning me around. A familiar figure stood there and kicked the man without hesitation. "Had enough fun?" he asked coldly. Gasps filled the room. People couldn't believe Oliver showed up. Rumor had it that Oliver and I were over, that there was no way we'd make up. He set me down and turned, glancing down at me. He frowned a little. "Ask for my help, and maybe I'll save you." "But," I said, "you already did." His eyes held a hint of frustration. Gina leaned in, whispering, "Melody, your boyfriend is so handsome. Why didn't you say so sooner?" Strangely, Oliver seemed in a better mood after she said that. I had no idea that when I returned home, I'd have the investors secured too. People started talking, saying the canary that vanished from Oliver's side returned, and Oliver was protecting her. Gina refused to move in with me. She got adopted by a really nice family. I was happy for her. Back home, I spent hours looking up Oliver's news. I discovered a side of him I'd never seen. One entertainment story stood out. A video, with tons of pictures attached. Headline: Oliver goes on a rampage, pours money into City A. In the video, Oliver wore the same suit as he did the day I left. His eyes were red, seeming like he hadn't slept for days. The footage angle was perfect, showing his unguarded face. Those eyes locked on the camera, making the person filming tremble, and my heart trembled along. Down by his feet were the cookies and snacks he'd gotten for me. During that time, Oliver's name was frequently in gossip, but then they'd disappear quickly. Word was, he'd taken measures to keep people from reporting on his private life. Even the articles pairing him with Anna vanished. Vincent's words replayed in my mind. I searched for rumors about Oliver being sick. Nothing came up. Just then, Wendy hugged me from behind. She exclaimed, "Mom, I met that handsome uncle today. He's the dad Wendy likes." I laughed, holding her as we went to the bedroom for bedtime stories. Oddly enough, Wendy looks a lot like me. She's only allergic to mangoes like Oliver, but otherwise, she doesn't take after him. As soon as I stepped out, my friend Sophia called me over. She stared silently at me for a while and sighed. She confessed, "After you left, Oliver came looking for you." I met her gaze, surprised. His mental state was worrying, like he was suppressing something. I was afraid and claimed I didn't know where you were. But there's something about him not many know. He's got a rage problem and often suffers insomnia, barely getting by on meds. Melody, if you still have feelings for him, be brave. His feelings for you shouldn't matter, what matters is what you feel. If he doesn't love you anymore, it wouldn't hurt you. I held back my emotions, eyes bright, certain, he still likes me. Oliver's hygiene obsession was intense. In the beginning, I had to disinfect 3 times daily. Any intimate moment needed sanitation first. Then, he stopped sanitizing me. Only himself. Most people can't get close to him. To match his lifestyle, my cleanliness obsession grew too. Maybe that's why I stayed. But last time in the lounge, I didn't detect the usual disinfectant smell before we got close. And again, this time he stood up for me, taking action against that man. Out of nowhere, a call came. No saved contact, but I knew it was Vincent's number. A rare urgency in his voice said, "Miss Melody, Oliver's having an episode. It's bad this time." My voice came out rough, "He needs a doctor." Vincent replied, "Oliver only calls for you, won't let anyone else near. Plus, he's got a fever. Why not call his fiancée?" I asked. "Why call her? Rumors say the Johnstons and Greens are merging." Vincent seemed cornered, quickly explaining, "That's just gossip. Oliver has no ties with the Greens heiress." My palms became sweaty, doubts vanished with that call. It was clear, I still had feelings for Oliver. I never forgot him. So, I went to see him. There was a crashing noise coming from inside the villa, mixed with screams and shouts. It was chaotic. A group of servants stood outside, not daring to get closer, whispering among themselves. Suddenly, they noticed me. All of them lit up with excitement. "Miss Melody, you're finally here. Oliver's inside." I only came because I couldn't ignore him. But if he's having an episode, shouldn't we be looking for a doctor? Why does everyone look at me like I'm some kind of savior? I snapped out of it when they ushered me to the villa's entrance. I could smell blood in the air. Vincent and a bunch of bodyguards were inside trying to restrain Oliver. His eyes were bloodshot, and he had this violent, dangerous aura I'd never seen before. No one dared to get close. Oliver had one hand around a guard's throat, and there were more guards in black suits knocked down all over the floor. Vincent saw me and his expression changed. "Didn't you bring the serum?" "What serum?" He shouted, "Get out and close the door." Oliver's completely lost it. But it was too late. Oliver had already seen me. His dark eyes were locked onto mine. His grip suddenly relaxed, and the guard fell to the ground. Oliver didn't move, just stared at me with puppy-like eyes. I couldn't figure out why I was comparing Oliver to a puppy in my head. I instinctively reached out my hand cautiously. "Do you want to come here?" He approached like a small pup, lowering his head, looking obedient. He walked over, and after a moment's hesitation, I hugged him. He was hot to the touch. I quickly felt his forehead. He leaned his head against my palm. "Melody, Melody." He kept saying my name. Before long, someone brought a syringe. It looked like something you'd use on a cow and promptly jabbed it into Oliver's arm. I met Vincent's gaze. He said casually, "Flaunting your affection, huh? That usually ends bad." Together, we moved Oliver to the bedroom. As I stepped out to get a glass of hot water, I paused at the study door. Back then, Oliver didn't like me coming here. I was like a canary in a gilded cage, reliant on him for a place to stay in City A. Now that we had no connection, I wanted to see what the study looked like. I opened the door and walked in, only to be greeted by walls covered with pictures of me. Some were from years ago when I was still in the country. But a whole lot were from my 4 years abroad. My mind reeled. Oliver had known where I was all along. He knew everything I did abroad, but he never came looking. I didn't understand. Shouldn't he have wanted to kill me for playing with his feelings? Someone knocked at the door, and I turned to see Vincent. He said, "Oliver doesn't dare to see you." "Why?" His eyes showed that he didn't want to disturb you since you seemed to want nothing to do with him. Plus, he thought you had a child with Charles. My mind began piecing together Oliver's life over these years. He would stare at the photos on the wall, resisting the people updating him with new ones, but couldn't help himself from filling up the room with them. He even saw Wendy's presence, and never doubted she was his child. He had someone beat Charles up but was wrong because when I had Wendy, it was 2 weeks late, though I told folks it was a month early. There was no way it could be his kid. I smirked seeing a piece of fabric peeking from the door. How childish Oliver had gotten after all these years. I didn't call him out and went to get him some hot water. Bringing it back, Oliver was sitting up slowly. I sat by the bed, helped him sip the water. He quietly drank, then leaned against me weakly. It felt strange. Oliver had always been this tall, strong figure, someone unbeatable. Suddenly, he said, "When you're here, my mind is clear." "Melody, I'm so sick. I just realized." Turns out Oliver had the illness even before I left, though it worsened after I did, became hard to control. Special medication was needed, but I never knew. When the rage hit, he couldn't recognize anyone and would hurt people, a reason the villa had chains. These were secrets he had hidden, now laid bare for me in a rush. Deliberately. Letting me see his vulnerabilities. He was showing his wounds. Before, he didn't show weakness or want pity. Now, his hair was damp with sweat, his face pale, with a certain helplessness. He buried his head against my neck softly. "Melody, at least show me some pity." Still the Oliver I knew, just more calculating. Silent for a moment, I suddenly asked, "Do you hate kids?" He replied, "Yes, I do." That time, I didn't react much, just left quietly after he fell asleep. Wendy now mattered more. I wouldn't give up Wendy for anyone. My mom died in childbirth with Gina. Dad remarried quickly, saying Gina died. Turns out, she was sent to an orphanage because my age made me useful around the house. Later, Dad gambled away everything, and his new wife left with their kid. He sold me to a casino boss, but I ran off, finding Oliver in a messed up setup in his life, and it worked out for me. I always want family but don't know how to reach Oliver again. Afraid I'd interfere with his illness, I agreed to lunch with Charles, hoping to learn more about Oliver and the photos. I asked if Oliver confronted him after I left. Charles was annoyed, saying Oliver went crazy looking for me, discovered Charles's role, and beat him within an inch of his life. I sympathized. "Your family didn't stop Oliver?" His face darkened. "Oh, they stopped him by sending more goons to beat me. My family's mad you left with Oliver's canary. Almost kicked me out of the family registry." I laughed awkwardly, quickly offering him food and drinks as a peace offering. When he was dropping me off, he said, "I'm just a bad person, so this time I pushed Oliver down and seeing him down makes me happy. I don't know why you left him, but I want to say, you're definitely the one he cares about the most. Men understand men. The way he looks at you, I can't be wrong." It made me freeze for a moment. His gaze shifted behind me, and he smirked. He reached out and patted my head. "There aren't many people as kind as me, so take your time figuring it out on your own." I was lost in thought over what he meant. Just as I reached my apartment building, I felt a pair of hands on my back, pulling me against a firm chest. The familiar scent hit me. A hand cupped my jaw, making me turn my head. The person behind me leaned in for a kiss. I heard his deep, intimidating voice whisper behind my ear, "Melody, you think about everyone yet never about me? Is summer boat made because you have feelings for me, or is it to let me go? Melody, I'm a complete lunatic." You know what a lunatic wants to hear? I shook my head. I held his face, stood on tiptoes, and kissed him. Staring brightly into his eyes, I said, "I like you." He froze, shocked, asking me what I just said. I looked him in the eye and said slowly, "Oliver, I think I still like you." He trembled, bending down to kiss me back. Suddenly, a little figure ran out from the building, hugging Oliver's leg with a cute, childish voice, "Uncle, you're here." "Mom, this is the daddy I found for myself." "Sweetheart, how did you end up finding your real dad?" "He's rich. And he's really good to Wendy, plus he doesn't have other women around." "I like this daddy, Mom, go for it." Oliver's expression was icy, his face a bit dark. "Melody, what do you take me for? You think I like you, makes me your kid's stepdad?" I couldn't help but smile. Oliver had investigated me for so long and knows how I lived abroad. Did he not find out I had no romantic life abroad? At most, someone pursued me. The only one who had a chance to make me pregnant was him. Wendy blinked her bright eyes, darting them between us. Then she whispered to me, "Mom, grab the new dad. He's stubborn, don't listen to him." Oliver, even his persona collapses in front of Wendy. I couldn't hold back my laughter. I knelt down to let Wendy go back inside first. Once she left, Oliver softly asked, "Does it hurt?" I was startled. He gazed at me without blinking. "Where was the guy who got you pregnant when you gave birth?" It dawned on me what he meant. That person was so great you left the country for him, ignoring danger just to have his child? I asked, "What danger?" He paused for 2 seconds, then revealed the truth. "Your mom had postpartum hemorrhage. I didn't want you facing those problems. If it were me, I wouldn't let you have a child." I felt a sense of absurdity. My throat tightened, making it almost impossible to speak. After a long time, I said, "Do you know when Wendy was born?" March 21, 2019. I was surprised he remembered so clearly. I shook my head. "Not March, February 8th, I intentionally kept it hidden." He looked shocked, pondering. Suddenly he fixed his eyes on me, his voice shaking, "Wendy?" I nodded. "Wendy is our child, there was no one else. I've always liked only you. You don't need my sympathy because I've always loved you, that hasn't changed." I told him about overhearing his conversation with a friend that day, and much more. Finally, I lowered my head, grabbing Oliver's hand, intertwining our fingers. Then I looked up into his eyes. "Get back together?" He squeezed my hand back, his fingers trembling. "I've been waiting for you to say that, for a long time." I remember he lastly said. It was the first time his friend spoke like that in front of him, not expecting it would drive me away. His regret wasn't just for that moment. Over the years, it tormented him day and night. But I regretted too. Regretting being young and scared to boldly express love. When Oliver found out my best friend encouraged me to take that step, he gifted her a company. My best friend had her mouth open for a month. She panicked and asked, "What if I can't run a company?" Oliver casually replied, "If it goes bankrupt, I'll give you another one. If there's anything you don't know, just ask us." As for me, I became the largest shareholder in H Group. My best friend, smitten with Oliver, kicked Wendy and me out without a second thought. We naturally moved into Oliver's villa. Oliver and Wendy faced each other, both with sullen faces. "Oliver, where's your dad?" "Wendy, my mom said I don't have a dad. My dad went somewhere far, far away. And my dad is a big meanie who always bullies mom. I like you a lot, so will you be my new dad?" But you have to pass my mom first, or Wendy won't accept you. I felt a chill run down my spine, quickly pulling Wendy over. It took half a day to explain to her that she actually has a dad, that's Oliver. I explained her dad didn't abandon us on purpose and cleared up the misunderstanding between us. She was quiet for a while, then both mom and dad have to say, "I love you" to me every day. Once the misunderstanding was cleared, she smiled like a little sunshine. Wendy has a dad just like other kids. I often visit my sister Gina, bringing her food. I care for her, supporting her. At first, she didn't get used to it, but she gradually opened up to me, accepting me. Later, one day she suddenly asked, "Oh no, I've gone from cheap labor to just labor. Free babysitting." But Wendy was very well behaved, sometimes quite the little character. Even the family that adopted my sister liked this lively girl. Everyone got along well. I thought since there's such a big gap between my and Oliver's family statuses, Oliver's family would never agree to let us be together. But I was surprised when they met me and kept saying, "It's great. After all that, it's still you two." I found out Oliver had mentioned marrying me to his family 4 years ago. He had already settled everything with them. One morning, I dreamt about cookies. Waking up, half asleep, I nudged Oliver. Mumbled, "Oliver, I want cookies. Could you get me some?" After receiving no response, I opened my eyes a little and came face to face with his anxious, dark eyes. He demanded, word by word, "You planning to leave me again?" It struck me that this was the excuse I used to send Oliver away before and successfully slip away. I quickly shook my head. "No, this time I genuinely want them." Without a word, he woke up, carefully carried a groggy Wendy to the room next door, ensuring Vincent and the others were watching her before returning. As soon as he entered, he locked the door in one smooth motion. Staring intently with those dark eyes, he said, "It's time to settle the old scores." With that, he grabbed my ankle, pulling me closer. I gasped, startled. Men, they really do hold grudges. But when I woke up, I saw the pigeon egg diamond ring on my right ring finger, almost blinding me. Oliver said, "We have a lifetime of issues to settle, and we'll take our time." Vincent's epilogue. According to Vincent, not long after Melody returned, Oliver fell ill. My first reaction was to call the specialist doctor. I told Oliver, "I'll call Eric, let him check on you quickly." But after I said that, Oliver didn't reply, just stared at me. With a serious face, he said, "I'm sick and need someone to take care of me." I didn't get it, tentatively suggesting, "Should I call Mary?" He didn't respond, his eyes deep and heavy. I hesitantly asked, "Should I call Melody?" At that, Oliver looked away. He said, "I'm very ill, needing immediate care." Suddenly, it clicked for me, and I quickly rang a contact to find Melody's number. "Melody, Oliver's sick. It's serious this time." Oliver nodded in satisfaction. Holding the pregnancy report in my hand, I clenched it tight. I knew I'd scored another raise opportunity. Oh, right. Oliver also found Gina. After getting wind of it, he had me casually relay it to her best friend. But a few days passed, and nothing happened abroad. Oliver spent that whole day with a cold face, sitting neatly in the living room. After a long silence, showing some mercy, he said, "Forget it, Gina's information isn't working. Let's spread news about my illness." Just as he finished speaking, my phone rang. Melody was returning to the country.